next is about research, meaning, types, and characteristics. So, research, meaning, types, and characteristics. Meaning of research. Research is a systematic and rigorous process of inquiry, investigation, or exploration aimed at acquiring new knowledge, understanding, and insights. It involves a structured and methodical approach to solving problems, answering questions, or gaining deeper insights into a subject matter. Types of research. Basic or fundamental research. Objective. Basic research aims to expand the existing knowledge base and enhances understanding of fundamental principles without any immediate practical application. Characteristic. It often takes place in academic and scientific settings, is driven by curiosity, and can lead to breakthrough discoveries. Then applied research. Objective. Applied research seeks to address specific real world problems or issues by using existing knowledge to develop practical solutions. And characteristics. It is goal oriented, industry focused, and often conducted in partnership with organizations or industries. Then descriptive research. Objective. Descriptive research aims to provide a detailed and accurate portrayal of a phenomenon, event, or situation. It answers what and how questions. So, characteristics. It involves surveys, case studies, and observations, and provide a comprehensive overview of the subject. Exploratory research. Exploratory research seeks to explore a relatively unknown topic or issue, often with the purpose of generating hypotheses or ideas for further research. So, characteristics. It involves literature review, focus groups, and preliminary investigations to define research objectives. Then, explanatory research. Objective. Explanatory research is designed to investigate the causes or reasons behind a particular phenomenon, seeking to explain why something happens. So, characteristics. It often employs experiments and control groups to identify causal relationships. So, quantitative research. Objective. Quantitative research collects and analyzes numerical data, seeking to quantify relationships and draw statistical inferences. So, characteristics. It uses structured surveys, experiments, and statistical tools to draw conclusions. Then, qualitative research. Qualitative research gathers non numeric data, focuses on understanding complex human behaviors, attitudes, and experiences. So, characteristics. It involves interviews, observations, and content analysis, emphasizing depth and context. So, characteristics of research. Systematic inquiry. Research follows a structured process including problem formulation, data collection, analysis, and interpretation. An empirical basis. Research relies on empirical evidence gathered through observations, experiments, surveys, and interviews. Logical and critical thinking. Research involves logical and critical thinking to assess and analyze data, draw conclusions, and develop theories. Then objectivity. Researchers strive to remain objective and avoid bias in data collection and analysis. Generalization. Research aims to make generalizations and draw broader conclusions from specific observations of that or data. Replicability. Research should be replicable, allowing other researchers to repeat the study and verify the results. Ethical considerations. Ethical principles and guidelines govern research to protect the rights and well-being of participants. In continuous process, research is an ongoing process with the potential for new questions and discoveries. In conclusion, research is a systematic, objective, and logical process that encompasses various types and characteristics. It plays a crucial role in advancing knowledge, addressing real world problems, and enhancing our understanding of the world. So, researchers employ different methods and approaches based on their objectives and the nature of the subject matter they are investigating. Then, positivism and positivistic approach to research. Positivism. Positivism is a philosophical and research paradigm that originated in the 19th century. It is based on the idea that knowledge should be derived from observable facts and empirical evidence, and that the scientific method is the most reliable means of acquiring knowledge. Key principles of positivism. Empiricism. Positivism emphasizes the importance of empirical observation and data collection. It holds that knowledge should be based on sensory experiences and measurable phenomena. Then, objectivity. Positivist researchers aim to maintain objectivity by minimizing bias and personal interpretation in their research. This is achieved through standardized methods and quantifiable data. Then determinism. Positivism often assumes that natural phenomena follow deterministic laws, which means that events are predictable and follow specific cause and effect relationships. Then reductionism. Positivism tends to break complex phenomena into smaller, more manageable parts for analysis. This reductionist approach helps in understanding intricate systems and verification and falsifiability. Positivist research should be testable and capable of being confirmed or refuted to empirical evidence. This principle is closely linked to the scientific method. Then quantitative data. Positivist research predominantly relies on quantitative data and statistical analysis to draw conclusions and establish generalizations. Then positivistic approach, meaning the post-positivistic approach represents a shift from the strict empiricism of positivism. It acknowledges the limitations and complexities in applying purely positivist principles to all areas of research. And key characteristics of the post positivistic approach: epistemological pluralism. Post positivism recognizes that different paradigms and perspectives are valid in different research contexts. It emphasizes the coexistence of multiple ways of knowing. So, subjectivity and interpretation. Post positivism accepts that researchers and participants bring their subjectivity and interpretations to the research process. This contrasts with strict objectivity in positivism. And contextual understanding. Post positivists consider the importance of context and cultural factors in shaping research outcomes. They acknowledge that the same phenomenon may be understood differently in various contexts. So, what is actually this post positivistic approach? The post positivistic approach represents a shift from a strict empiricism of positivism. It acknowledges the limitations and complexities in applying purely positivist principles to all areas of research. Mixed methods. Post positivism is open to the use of mixed methods combining quantitative and qualitative approaches to provide a richer and more comprehensive understanding of complex phenomena. Then, reflexivity. Post positivist researchers engage in reflexivity, meaning they critically examine their own assumptions, values, and biases, and how these may influence the research process and outcomes. Then, pragmatism. The post positivist approach adopts a more pragmatic view of research, focusing on what works best in a particular research context rather than adhering to rigid philosophical principles. So, comparison. Positivism is characterized by its strict adherence to empirical observation, objectivity, and quantifiable data. It emphasizes this scientific method as the primary means of acquiring knowledge. Then, post positivism recognizes the limitations of strict positivist principles and embraces subjectivity, multiple paradigms, and the importance of context. It allows for greater flexibility in research design and methods. In summary, while positivism emphasizes empirical evidence and objectivity, post positivism acknowledges the complexities and subjectivity in research. So, researchers adopting a post positivist approach are more open to diverse methods and paradigms, aiming to generate a deeper understanding of complex phenomena. So, let's explore different methods of research. Experimental research. Experimental research is a systematic approach to scientific inquiry that involves the manipulation of one or more variables to observe the effects on other variables. It aims to establish cause and effect relationships. Key elements of experimental research: independent and dependent variables. In an experiment, an independent variable is manipulated to observe its effect on a dependent variable. The independent variable is the cause, while the dependent variable is the effect. Then, control group. Experimental research often include a control group that does not receive the experimental treatment. Comparing the control group with the experimental group helps in isolating the treatment's impact. Then, randomization. Participants are typically assigned to groups randomly to ensure that the groups are comparable, reducing the impact of bias. Then, hypothesis testing. Experimental research tests hypotheses to determine if the manipulation of variables has a significant effect. Statistical analysis is often used to draw conclusions. The laboratory and field experiments. Experiments can be conducted in controlled laboratory settings or real world field settings depending on the research goals. Then, advantages of experimental research. Causality. And experimental research is ideal for establishing cause and effect relationships between variables. Then, control. Researchers can control and manipulate variables, ensuring the internal validity of the study. Then, precision. Experiments often yield precise and quantitative results. And limitations of experimental research. Artificial settings. Laboratory experiments may not fully replicate real world conditions. And ethical concerns. Some experiments may involve ethical issues, especially when they require manipulation. Then, a descriptive research. Meaning, descriptive research is a method used to describe and document the characters, behavior, or conditions of a particular subject or phenomenon. It focuses on what and how questions. Key characteristics of descriptive research. Observation. Descriptive research involved systematic observation, data collection, and reporting of finding without manipulation. Surveys and questionnaires. Researchers use surveys and questionnaires to gather data from participants. These tools provide insights into opinions, behaviors, or attitudes. Case studies. Descriptive research may employ case studies to provide in-depth examination analysis of a particular subject or situation. And content analysis. Content analysis is used to analyze text or media content, providing insights into patterns, themes, and trends. And advantages of descriptive research. Holistic understanding. Descriptive research allows for a comprehensive understanding of a subject as it focuses on detail and context. Natural settings. It often takes place in natural settings, which enhances external validity. The limitations. Lack of causality. Descriptive research does not establish cause and effect relationships. And subjective interpretation. Researchers may introduce subjectivity when interpreting observations or responses. Historical research. Historical research involves the systematic collection and interpretation of past data and events. It aims to reconstruct historical events, processes, and developments. Key characteristics of historical research. Archival research. Historians often rely on archival documents, records, letters, diaries, and other historical artifacts as primary sources of information. An analysis of historical events. Historical research explores the causes, consequences, and context of historical events. Narrative and storytelling. The findings in historical research are often represented as narratives or stories that make history accessible and engaging. Advantages of historical research. Understanding context. Historical research provides insights into the context of past events and their impact on the present. And preservation of history. It contributes to the preservation of historical records and knowledge. Limitations of historical research. Limited data. Historical research is constrained by the availability of historical records and data. Bias and interpretation. Historians' interpretations and biases can influence the narrative and analysis. These three research methods are serving as distinct purposes. Experimental research is ideal for establishing cause and effect relationships through controlled manipulation of variables. Descriptive research focuses on providing a detailed and comprehensive understanding of a subject or phenomenon. Historical research seeks to reconstruct and analyze past events, processes, and developments, contributing to our understanding of history and its implications. Then, quantitative and qualitative methods. Qualitative methods research. Qualitative research is an exploratory and interpretative approach to study the complexities of human behavior, experiences, and phenomena. It aims to gain a deeper understanding of why and how questions. Data collection methods such as interviews, focus groups, observations, and open-ended surveys to collect non-numeric data. Subjectivity. Researchers acknowledge their role in shaping the research process and outcomes. Subjectivity and the researcher's perspective are often integral to the study. Inductive approach. Qualitative research often uses an inductive approach where theories and hypotheses emerge from the data rather than being predefined. Rich descriptions. Qualitative research produces rich descriptive narratives that provide context and detail about the subjects being studied. Themes and patterns. Researchers identify themes, patterns, and categories in the data, often through coding and content analysis. Small sample sizes. Qualitative research typically involves small sample sizes, allowing for in-depth exploration of each participant's experience. Advantages. Rich insights. It provides deep insights into complex human behavior. Flexibility will be there, contextual understanding will be there, then limitations, limited generalizability, subjectivity, and quantity. Next we will be learning about quantitative research in the next video. Thank you for listening.